So this is a video about how to insert data into an array. Now, the thing about an array is that first of all, once you've created it, you have a fixed size. So you have a limited number of data elements you can put into it anyway. It is possible to create yourself a bigger array and copy the data across, but once you've reached the size limit of a particular array, that's the only alternative you have. The other issue you have is that elements in an array are in a fixed position. So that means that if you've got space, it's easy enough to add something to the end, but it's not very easy to add something to the middle. And I've got a program here that basically does that, and to show that it is possible. So I've started running this program and I'll show you the code in a bit. But first of all, this is asking us whereabouts we want to insert an element into an array. Okay, well, this is an empty array, and the only place we can insert anything at the moment is in element 0 right at the beginning. So I have to type 0. Let's type 5. Okay, so now we've got an array which has got one element in it, the 0th element, and it's element 5. Now, suppose I want to then add another element. Let's suppose I want to put it in location 1. That's going to be after 5, because this is element 0 and element 1 is going to be after it. So if I type 1 and I type in 7, then now I've got 5 in there and 7 in there. Suppose now I want to insert something at the very beginning. Okay, I said it was difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. But just to show that it is possible, if I type in 0, that means I want to put in a new 0th element. That means, to be clear, I want to put something in front of the 5. I don't want to delete the 5 and the 7. I want to basically put something extra in the front there and basically move these down. So I type in 0 and I put in 8. Now I've got 8, 5 and 7. Let's suppose I want to put something in now in location 2. Okay, so I type in 2 and I type in, I don't know, 4. Now you can see I've got 8, 5, 4 and 7. 4 is now the new element in location 2, 7 was in location 2, and now it's in location 3. You can see that this kind of thing is something you would want to do, because suppose you're building up, say, a list of names and you want to keep them in alphabetical order, you'd want to insert things in the right position. I'm going to show you why this is quite tricky. This is an array here, and I've written out the indexes from 0 to 9, so this is a 10-element array. And I've put in this array the letters starting from A, but I've deliberately left out E. Okay, I've also left a couple of empty spaces at the end, because as I said, you can only fill up an array as far as you have space. You can't suddenly put in an extra one. So fortunately, because I've got two blank elements here, I can put in an extra element here. But what have I got to do? Well, this element here, this F, is currently in location 4, and I've got to move it to location 5. So I've got to literally copy that from there to there. And I've got to copy the G from there to there, and the H from there to there, and the I from there to there. And actually it's even more complicated than that, because if I think about what I'm going to do, if I say, well, okay, let's copy the F from location 4 to location 5. Now I've got an F there. But doing that, I've overwritten the G. So when I come to do my next step, which is copy the item from location 5 to location 6, I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to copy the F to here, and basically I'm progressively overwriting the data, and eventually I'm going to end up with this, and I'll then be able to put my E in here. But of course this has now completely damaged the data. Where it did say F, G, H, I, it now just says F, 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 F. So to actually make this work properly, what I actually need to do is I need to do it from the end. I need to say, okay, find the last element with data in, take this I and copy it there. Then I have to take this H here and copy it to there. And then take the G and copy it to there. And take the F and copy it to this. And once I've done that, I can replace the F here by the E. So actually you've got to count from the back of the array down. I'm going to show you the code for doing this. This is a program which is on Blackboard. You can download it and run it. This is the one I showed you just now. But lots of this code is just essentially about reading in numbers and keeping track. So we started off by creating an array of 10 elements here. Now first of all, that means we can only store a maximum of 10 elements. Once we get to that point, then we have to stop. Okay, we have actually got an infinite loop here, so this will go on trying to put data in as long as we keep entering it, but in practice, as soon as you got to 10, the next one you put in will crash the program. We've got a little loop that says read in a number in the range of 0 to count. Well, what's count? Well, count's another variable, it's an integer and it's set to 0. Now if you remember, I can find out the length of an array with the dot length reserved word or operator. So I could, you think, just write data.length. But data.length in this case is going to return 10. It's the size of the actual array. But we haven't got any data in it to start with. At the moment it's empty. So we can't use data.length because we need to manually keep track of how much data we have got in the array already. So already we've got a problem here. We've got to invent our own extra variable, because even though we can write data.length is only going to return 10, and to start with those 10 elements of the array are all empty. We haven't got any real data in them. So that's what this loop here does. It says check the number we type in is in the range of 0 to count, which is why to start with it says 0 to 0, because count starts off as 0. Once we've done that, that tells us which place we want to put the item in. Then here we read in the value, and at that point we know we've now got an extra element to store in our array, so we increase count from 0 to 1. This loop here is the one that actually makes the space. Okay, so this is something we haven't seen before, although it's very similar to something the for loops we have seen, but the difference is that now we're going to start at the maximum value, count. In this case, the first time we do this will be 1. And so long as I is larger than the place in the array we're going to put the new data element in, we're going to copy whatever's at location I minus 1 into location I. If we go back to this point here, that basically says essentially start off by copying whatever's in location 7, where 7 is I minus 1, into location 8, where location 8 is I. Notice we're counting down I minus 1. Now, the fact that we're counting down isn't itself a problem, but the fact that we have to manually move all this data at all is a huge problem. There's only 10 elements in this array, it's not a big deal, but suppose there were 1,000,000. This could actually take a significant amount of time, and it's not really a very effective way to deal with data, so we would like something better than this.